Our next guest is the brilliant actor who's been around so many incidents in A&E, she's practically medically qualified. This Saturday, she stars in the Casualty Christmas special on BBC One at 9:20, and it's groundbreaking. So come on, everyone, let's yell in her for Elinor Lawless!
Here she comes, Right, that's all the joy now for the tears. No, we'll leave it a bit. How are you, Ellie?
I'm great. It's lovely. It's so lovely to be here.
It's great to have you here.
And yeah.
38 years for Casualty. That was a good idea, wasn't it? Whoever came up with that.
Yeah. So it started in 1986,
Yep.
and I remember watching it as a kid. I grew up watching Derek Thompson, who played Charlie for years on Casualty, and Brenda Fricker was in the first ever kind of series, and when she won her Oscar for My Little at the same time that was filming. So it's an institution, and you see a lot of faces that have kind of come through through the years, of people who've really kind of cut their teeth in the show as well. But yeah, it's an absolute privilege to be part of it.
Yeah, and this show on Saturday night, you will never have seen a show like it. You've got to get ready for it. I wasn't ready for it last night. I mean, I was ready for Casualty. I was ready for a Christmas special. I was ready for all that, but I wasn't ready for this. I'm not sure we should say what happens in it, because I just want people to have the same experience that I had. Or do we suggest what happens in it so more people get to the Casualty party? What do you think we should do?
Well, I guess we could tease a little. I think kind of at the heart of the episode is this idea of giving and giving something that we all have in common.
Money can't buy, but it costs us nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the center of the episode is this idea of blood and lifeblood, and what connects us all. And throughout the episode, which was directed by the brilliant Steve Hughes, we have these little kind of vignettes of real life stories from people who have been affected by a loss of blood contamination, and there's one story in particular which I won't give away, that just really speaks to the hope that blood gives. And I think the message of the show, I would say, particularly on Saturday night's episode, is one of hope.
Yeah, that's the thing. The most, I don't know. You say, I asked you off there, didn't I? Who came up with the idea? There's this central idea that runs through it. So Casualty opens up. It's a Christmas special. There's snow. There's accidents, there's terrible things happening, and hopefully there's some redemption and lots of succour on hand to help these poor people out who are experiencing these terrible, terrible situations. But then, after 5 or 6 minutes, you cut from the drama into a real-life documentary segment.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then you stay with the documentary segment, and then they cut back to the drama. And this goes on all the way through the show, and you go, oh. And it stops you in your tracks. It makes you entirely engaged. I mean, I was engaged anyway, but it makes you entirely engaged. And then it's about the compound effect. It's the compound effect of the brilliant message anyway, the fantastic writing, the amazing production, the amazing acting, and then the real life foundation that is first of all on top, and then you realise is underneath the whole thing. And the compound effect of that is breathtaking.
Yeah, I think what Casualty does well, and I think in particular with this episode, is that it reminds us of that we are all all we have is our stories, and we're all completely interconnected through our stories. And the fact that I remember kind of watching, we got to watch the kind of the first cut of the Christmas ep, and to see those real life stories kind of played out against the fictitious layer was just a real reminder of the good that a production like Casualty can do. It's the world's longest running kind of primetime medical drama, but this episode is a reminder, I think, of why, because we're there to serve everybody's story, and it's something none of us in our lifetime can avoid a hospital wing. We all have stories, and a hospital smell, which we're all really au fait with, and this is to be to be part of this particular story, felt like a real honor. And we have an amazing cast and an amazing crew there. And to watch people get behind it, there was a real energy and a real atmosphere on set throughout the filming of this particular block, because we knew we were doing something good.
I don't know. And by the way, it's not a competition that needs to be held or won, but I don't know if 47 minutes of television that's ever been broadcast since television was invented could possibly have more good about it or goodness in it than this. It's 47 minutes long, and it achieves so much goodness within that 47 minutes. This is going to save this show. This episode on Saturday is going to save lives.
That's really. I'm even moved that you would say that, and I think I think you're right. I didn't realize that, for example, one bag of blood can save up to 3 lives. And I had a heart condition as a kid, and I know that I was saved and looked after by strangers. And I love that. This is an episode about the kindness and the goodness and the kind of necessity of strangers, or friends we haven't yet met.
You've had 4 experiences, really, because you've had your own experience as a kid.
Yeah.
And you weren't really deemed completely healthy till you were 21, were you?
That's right, yeah.
And then you were in Casualty once, ages ago.
That's right, yes.
But it's been going for so long, you can get recast for a main role.
I know,
and
much to my parents' delight.
And then you had your own experience as a parent as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So you are so qualified for this role, aren't you?
Well, yeah, and I feel terribly underqualified for that. The medics on our show are absolutely, they're amazing, and they're headed up by Tosh, Nick and Claire, and we have an amazing medical team. I remember my first day on Casualty, bricking it.
Is this the first time around?
No, this was the first time around I played. I was playing a mother, so I was on the patient side.
Right.
But this time around, I was cast as a consultant, and not a clue. And it was during COVID, so there was no kind of sometimes you would get a little bit of training or shadowing, but so I didn't have any of that. But I've got a lot of medics in the family, so that was quite useful. A lot of crazy medics in the family. I've got a brain surgeon cousin who's nuts.
I've never really interviewed anybody about Casualty, the production, before. We've had other Casualty stars on the show, but the hospital. Where is your hospital? Where is it? A soundstage? Is it a hospital? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a soundstage, but it's I brought family to see it, and it's that they've completely recreated this hospital wing.
It looks like it's a hospital.
It's amazing.
That's an obvious thing to say, but
it absolutely does. I mean, we have these amazing kind of resus rooms, but no, it's a fully kind of fully functioning like hospital suite, which is it's lovely to take people behind the scenes, because they're like, oh my God, it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know.
So is all the equipment real?
Yeah, I mean, so for example, things like, if you perform something like a chest drain or any of those kind of procedures, everything that we use, like the bougies, like to do, or laryngoscope, they're all, they're not.
See you with all the lingo now. She's got all the lingo.
Just want to drop that in there.
4 years in, and it's sounding convincing.
Practically a doctor.
Of course, you started in Doctors as well.
Yeah, that's right. I did a couple of episodes of Doctors.
What did you do in Doctors?
One of the episodes, I played a very worthy mother who was of the earth, and she had a troublesome son and was connected with one of the staff in the hospital. And in the other one, I played a real floozy who was going out with a younger man.
Right.
That's right.
My mum used to love Doctors. She's
Really?
no longer with us anymore. Nor is Doctors. Maybe
I know.
They both left to go to the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow. What was... I mean, there's never been a Casualty like this before. There's never been I can say, I know that for various reasons, Ellie can't say it, but it's about the promotion of the importance of blood donating, which I've done once, and I keep saying I should do it more often. I'm just like, last night I'm thinking, you idiot. So 2 things last night watching the show. 3. 1 is, how lucky are we? 2 is, got to give more blood. 3 is, I've got to up my game generally with just helping people out. Carfest has just got to be better and do more good, that kind of stuff. How was it for you and the team whilst you were making it? Were you aware that this might be the most important episode of Casualty ever.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, I know they've had a couple of episodes. Again headed up by Steve Hughes. They had a really heartbreaking, and they had a COVID episode, which was as we were still living through it, which I think was hugely important. And they had a paramedic special, but. Yeah, I think with this episode in particular, I guess there is a kind of really gentle but a call to arms, for all of us.
Yeah. Call to action. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and just a reminder of how we of the difference that we can make. As people, as a kid, being in and out of hospital, I was taken care of by strangers, and
just speaking to this, if people don't know, just what was wrong with you?
So I had a hole in the heart, and I had a thing called an anomalous drainage. I still ask my dad about what does that mean. He goes, not too sure actually. But
he's your dad.
He's dad. But I was really lucky because of where it sat in the heart. They could correct the two with the one procedure. But I think a year prior to that, when my parents, when I was diagnosed, my consultant said, just, count your blessings. We had another kid with this, and who we sent them home and said, just make them comfortable. So I was really, really lucky, and that's the thing too. It's like we're at the kind of the will of the fates, or happenstance, serendipity, and just I think this episode I think reminds us that it's not actually luck. It's the work of people in the background who are donating, who are giving of their time, who are working long hours, long shifts, who are away from their families at Christmas.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it's it's beautiful.
It's crazy and it's beautiful. All those things. You went to theatre school.
I did.
Was it the old
Bristol Vic
Theatre School?
That's right.
So I got some friends who've got kids who want to go to theatre school. What was the most important thing you needed to? You could say would be helpful to them in acquiring a place there? What should they take to the party, the interview party?
Yeah, I think in terms of getting into drama school, choose speeches that you connect with, because you have to rock up with your modern and your classic, but and also just hang in there as well. Like my parents, when I rang them up to say that I got this job on Casualty, the relief was palpable. My dad would be like, I don't know why you do this job. And when I got, to be able to, I used to say to them, one day I'm going to be able to buy you a conservatory. They don't want a conservatory, but I just hang in there, because it took a long time for me to get.
Why did you think they did want a conservatory?
My dad, growing up, the conservatory was like the height of glamour.
Yeah.
Particularly in the north of Ireland, houses with a conservatory and a good garden. It was like, oh. They think they are something, huh? So the idea of being able to gift a conservatory, but no, Dad doesn't want it now.
So anything else instead?
No, he's happy with his Sudoku and his arrow word.
Not this far.
And Mum, may she rest, was just happy with a cup of coffee in bed. So they were. Yeah.
The other experience you've had in gratitude of the medical profession is your own child, who's born prematurely. Do you mind speaking to that?
No,
at all?
Of course not. No,
because I have a friend who I saw yesterday. His name is Matt, and he and his wife had a premature little. They've called him Max, but he's the most mini Max ever. And he's only a few days out of hospital, and he's so small. Everything's going to be all right. But even now, he showed me pictures today of my friend Matt with Max 2 days ago, and little Max is so small. But thank God, little Max is going to be fine.
Yeah, and that I think I remember when Joe was born, he was taken away quite quickly. His blood sugar level dropped.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And they hit the crash button, and all of a sudden, your story just completely goes in a different direction. But I remember thinking at the time, going to see him in neonate the first night. Because I was still in recovery, and then I went down to see him, and I remember thinking about my mum and dad and all those years that they had of in and out of hospital, and the work. I had that real kind of edifying moment of what it was to be, just the agony and the joy of what it is to be a parent. But the staff were absolutely fantastic. And he was a little fighter. You know, he was like the you know, my dad used to say, he's got massive hands and massive feet, he'll be fine. He'll be grand.
You loved doing impressions of your dad.
That's my dad through and through. That's just him.
I've never met him, but I'm sure that's like spot. It just sounds so spot on. That's that's just like your dad. I've never met him.
You'd love him.
I bet I would. I bet he's
Mickey.
Mickey. All right.
Mickey Lawless.
It's great. Anything else you want to say about this show?
I just would encourage people to watch, and you know, and I would say in particular if you haven't watched Casualty before, it's a really good one. It's a really good one.
Yeah, well, it's like no other Casualty. You know, and I'm not slighting it by saying, you know, yesterday I was, you know, of course I'd watch it because you're coming on the show and that would be disrespectful not to watch it, but I just wasn't ready for it. It's out of the box. And it's what a TV has to do now, because there's so much great TV around. All TV has got to be better than it's ever been to stand a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I you know, I think we've done it with this episode.
You've more than done it with this one. So everyone's talking about Gavin and Stacey pre-Christmas, but everybody's going to be talking about this post-Saturday.
Thanks, guys. That means a lot.
9:20 Casualty Christmas special. It's not what you think it's going to... Whatever you think it's going to be, I guarantee it won't be that. It's good anyway. Casualty's great anyway. 38 years, can't be wrong. Well, it could be, but it's not in this case. This is 47 minutes of your life. You won't want to get back. You'll throw away the receipt for this 47 minutes because you want to keep it forever. Casualty Christmas special this Saturday, 21st December, 9:20 p.m, BBC One and the iPlayer. Let's hear it for Ellie, please, and the gang at Casualty.
Thank you so much, guys, and a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. A Merry Christmas to your dad.
Thank you very much.
Virgin Radio.